Confirmation bias. It is like a mental filter that lets in only the information you agree with while blocking out everything that challenges your beliefs. Imagine you've always believed that coffee is bad for you. One day, you see a news headline saying, "Coffee linked to heart disease," and you immediately take it as proof you've been right all along. But when you hear about another study that says coffee drinkers live longer, you brush it off as an exception. Here, confirmation bias is convincing you to stick with what you've always believed, ignoring new evidence that might challenge your stance. Hindsight bias. It happens when you convince yourself that you knew something would happen all along, even though you didn't. Suppose you're watching the stock market and a certain company's stock skyrockets after releasing a new product. After the fact, you tell yourself, "I knew that stock was going to blow up." But before the product launch, you might not have been so sure. Hindsight bias makes you forget the uncertainty that existed before the stock's rise. Self-serving bias. It is the tendency to attribute your successes to your own skills or efforts while blaming external factors for your failures. Let's say that you ace a job interview and get hired. You tell yourself, "I got the job because I'm talented and well prepared." However, if you didn't get the offer, you'd likely blame the company for having a biased interview process or say, they probably had an internal candidate already. So when you win, it's because of you, and when you lose, it's because of others. Availability bias. It happens when your brain makes decisions based on the most recent, vivid, or emotionally charged memories. After watching news reports about a plane crash, you might start thinking that air travel is much more dangerous than it actually is. Even though statistics show that flying is safer than driving, the vividness of the crash footage makes it feel riskier. Or if you've recently heard about someone losing money in the stock market, you might avoid investing at all. Egocentric buyers. It's like having a mental spotlight that shines brightest on yourself, and we begin to believe that we are the star of the show. After attending a family gathering, you vividly remember telling a hilarious story that had everyone laughing. You feel like you were the life of the party, but when you ask others about it, they barely remember the moment. Your memory put you at the center, but to everyone else, it was just one of many conversations. Rosy retrospection. It happens when our brain makes us see the past more pleasantly than it was, making us think that the good old days were better than they actually were. After a tough breakup, time may make you remember only the good times you had with your ex, like fun dates or shared jokes, while downplaying the arguments, emotional distance, or the reasons you broke up in the first place. This can make you question the breakup, even if it was for the best. This is mostly why people tend to crave their ex so much. Serial position effect. We tend to remember the first and last items on the list better than the ones in the middle. Imagine you're meeting a group of 10 people at a party. Hours later, you can clearly remember the names of the first 2 people you met. But the people you were introduced to in the middle of the evening are a blur. Restof Effect. It happens when we remember something in particular that stands out from its surroundings. It's like that one bright red apple in a basket of green ones. It draws your attention and sticks in your mind. Or, if you're given a list of words like apple, banana, orange, elephant, grape, peach, the word elephant will likely be the one you remember best, simply because it stands out from the list of fruits. Verbatim effect. It happens when we forget the exact details of what we've heard or read, but remember the general meaning or gist. Like, during a heated conversation, you may forget the exact words someone used, but you remember how it made you feel and the key points they argued. The finer details get blurry, but the major takeaways stay with you. Inattentional blindness. It happens when you are so focused on one thing that literally everything else fades away. Remember the times when you are so lost in your phone that you don't even realize when someone entered or left your room. You are so focused on the task at hand that your brain blocks out anything that is irrelevant to what you are doing.